Like to introduce one of our keynote speakers who will be speaking at this conference, and this is Professor Mamoketi Pakeng. Good morning.
Good morning, Adir. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Not a problem. Professor, you selected the topic Leadership 101.
Yeah.
Accountability in pursuit of excellence.
Yes.
Why is that?
You know, excellence is key for me. If in anything that we do, we should pursue excellence. But you can never get excellence in an organization, in an institution, in a company, if you do not hold people accountable. So accountability is key to excellence. You cannot achieve it. You cannot achieve excellence without accountability. And so the question is, how do you go about that as a woman in a world of patriarchy? In a world that's male dominated and people are used to accepting male leadership, and they're not so comfortable, some of them, with female leadership. Or even sometimes the people who are not comfortable are women. Or perhaps the expectation, because you're a woman, is that you don't hold people accountable in the same way that the men did. Yes. Or you can't do it your way. So that's why I chose this. That's because both concepts, excellence and accountability, are important for me. And in my view, they're interdependent. You cannot have excellence without accountability.
Okay, and it's also such a beautiful topic, given your experience. You are a leader.
Thank you.
So it's definitely would be something that you'd be speaking from your experiences. When you do your presentation, are you going to touch on maybe some of the experiences you've had? Use those as examples to leadership? Is that going to be part of what you'll be addressing as well?
Yes. I mean, I've been a leader at different levels. I've been a principal, acting principal of a school. I was 23. I've been a leader in an NGO. I've been a leader in a university at different levels. Yes. Being a head of department, being a dean, being a deputy vice chancellor, and being vice chancellor. And I'm going to talk about all those different experiences, because there's a difference in when you're vice chancellor. It's like when you're CEO, you are the accounting officer. And when you're a dean of a faculty, it's different. You are responsible for your faculty. And in a way, you're the champion for your faculty. You go out there and fight for your faculty. And when you're the CEO, you make sure that the whole company functions. At the same time, you don't have control. The dean doesn't report to you. Okay. But they've got to do work that's supposed that you as the CEO will be held accountable for. And so the issue is, how do you do that? And so we'll make those kinds of differences, because it does matter who you account to, where the accountability level is, and how big the organization is. And also there's also political ramifications as well, to being a principal of a school that's new, that doesn't have a building, that's in a platoon system, to being a dean of a faculty, or to running an NGO where things are a bit fluid and everybody understands that it's about delivery, and we don't have much staff, and so all of us, you get your hands in from beginning up to the end, and that's okay in an NGO, whereas in an institution, you cannot do that. When you do that, people say you're micromanaging. So there's different levels, yes, yes. So I am going to talk about the different kinds of experiences, but I'm going to be focusing on what that means for a woman, and my suggestions as to how I went about, and having learned what I learned, what I think could work going forward.
Yeah. And also another thing that I followed a bit of your journey when you were the vice chancellor.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that I picked, is that you were not only the vice chancellor, but you also held that role of the motherly figure.
Yeah.
Which speaks so well, because if this conference that we're doing is also a career expo, where we're hoping for mentorship opportunities for different people who will be coming through for the conference, because there are definitely different levels of leadership.
Yeah.
Now, would that be something that you can possibly touch on, you know, it's I feel it's critical
Yeah.
on the type of mentor that you choose, and that relationship that also has to have boundaries between the mentor and the mentee. Will that be something that you also give guidance on how it can be done seamlessly without, you know, anything that goes wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we only have an hour, so I'll have to select what I focus on. But that's certainly something that I'm passionate about, mentoring. But when you talked about how I delivered my leadership as vice chancellor, and you know, my relationship with the students, and them referring to me as deputy mother, you know, leadership is contextual. And when I talk about the context of your leadership, I'm not just talking about whether it's an education institution or a political party or an NGO. I'm also talking about the context in terms of the time. What are the times in which we lead in?
Yes.
What's the state of the organization when we lead? So I will unpack that, because that relationship, me building that relationship with the students at the time when I took office in 2018, when there was shutdown after shutdown, fees must fall was still increasing. There was a broken relationship between leadership, between students and management, between academic. It was important to do certain things. When students feel that this institution is not for us, it doesn't care for us, it doesn't see us, it doesn't recognize us because we're black, because we are marginalized, we continue to be marginalized. What is it that you do as a leader to make students and lower level staff feel seen, feel heard? You're not promoting them, you're not giving them free degrees, but you're making them feel seen and heard, and you make them feel that they matter. How do you do that as a leader? That's different from in different contexts, and that's when I talk about the context of your leadership. You've got to take into consideration the state of the organization, the state of the country, economically, politically, and otherwise, because you've got to make sure that you bring, especially those people who feel marginalized, to the fore, feel seen and heard without excluding others, because otherwise you're not able to lead. So I will talk about that, and of course, in that context, there's also mentorship, and what makes a mentor-mentee relationship work. You know, why should people mentor?
Yes.
We will talk a bit about that.
Yes. No, well, that's great. Speaking about the discussions that are going to be had, I'm just going to highlight some of the speakers that will be participating also in this conference are going to be coming from the Department of Corporate Government and the Department of Traditional Affairs, Transnet, the GCIS, Department of Telecommunications and Postal Services, Gauteng Office of the Premier, and also Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport. This is just but to mention a few. The dates of this conference is the 26th, 27th, and the 28th of July at the Gallagher Estate in Midrand. Look out for, there's going to be an expert panel discussion whereby delegates will be able to ask questions to an expert panel that consists of a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a divorce lawyer, a family advocate, mental health specialist, a traditional healer, and also a general GP. And without also forgetting that there's going to be practical workshops. We're going to be looking at mental health as a workshop, and also a workshop on financial wellness. And lastly, there will be a half-day Soweto tour. Have you been to Soweto?
Come on, I drive to Soweto on my own. I mean, I've lived in this country all my life, and I used to go to church in Soweto.
Oh, that's
so
that's
people
great.
get surprised that I drive to Soweto at night on my own in Pimville, Zola, and so on, comfortably.
Wow.
So and the Soweto tour is it's actually a brilliant choice. Because as a leader, whilst I was in Gauteng, I always took my leadership team to Soweto.
Yes.
In Cape Town, I took them to Khayelitsha,
Okay.
because it is important that people understand the country they're leading within.
Yes.
So I'm so glad that in addition to the careers expo, you'll also have a tour to Soweto, which is hugely important for every South African to get a sense, a glimpse into how others live.
That's great. No, the tour always is a hit.
Yeah.
With everybody, because you find that there's a lot that they didn't know about that they get to know about.
Yeah.
So it's going to be awesome. I'm
Absolutely.
looking forward to hosting you in July at Gallagher Estate. I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you.